which is why you have the distinction of what is now known as hashtag FBA, Foundational Black American, or even a term that came up before that, hashtag ADOS, Americans Descendants of Slaves. And people are fighting about Kamala Harris's blackness. This was a big talking point to Donald Trump.
Sir, do you believe that Vice President on the ticket?
She was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She is always identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't.
Now, as you can see, Donald Trump says, well, when did she become black? Is she Indian? I mean, when it suited her, she was Indian, but now you're telling me that she's black. Now, the person who is interviewing him or discussing with him is being very hostile. She's saying, no, she's always identified as a black woman. And this is a conversation that other people have had in the past.
I feel like anytime that type of quote-unquote gaslighting gets brought up, I think it's a simple solution. She's not of the lineage. But what the problem is, and I think, you having the platform you do, you should be able to easily recognize that there are plenty of your constituency that end up discrediting or dismissing the blackness, which I think becomes part of the conversation so that we can't even have realistic conversations about her policy. I can point out to you that the stuff that she's done that has been horrible, the stuff that came out of her office, and those should be the center of the conversation. But instead, Republicans keep on bringing up things about her blackness, as do Democrats, and the people of the people who identify as FBA refuse to acknowledge on plenty of occasions the fact that her black Jamaican dad would be black. While I can understand he's not of the lineage, that doesn't mean that he's not black, and it seems like there's an unwillingness to clarify that.
No, that's conjecture. That man has never come out and identified as a black man. Never. And there's no documentation of that man being black.
Now, as you can see, this brother Fanatic and Tariq Nasheed are having a pretty interesting conversation, which, hey, they both make great points. Fanatic is saying, hey, listen, you're right. She is not a part of the lineage, but what you're doing is saying that she's not black at all, which is not true because she does have black heritage. Tariq Nasheed is responding by saying, well, listen, I don't know what she is. I don't know what her father says she is. So we can't identify her to any heritage. We do know that she's not African American or hashtag FBA, but now we're saying is we don't believe that she's black at all. And that has also been a point of contention. But also, Yvette Carnell makes it very plain.
Nobody did that. Ain't nobody been around here judging her blackness. What we have judged is her lineage and her attachment to American descendants of slaves. She has a Jamaican parent and an Indian parent, and neither of those parents is an American DOS, descendant of chattel slavery in this country. Not everywhere slavery. We know that was slavery in other parts of the world. But if you in the Caribbean or one of those places, if you in Haiti, then your issue, as we've said here many a times, is with the French. And if you ever get reparations from the French, I will clap, I will be happy, I will throw you a party, I will buy you a drink, baby, but I will not try to take your money. I will not try to eat that fruit, because I don't have no bones buried in Haiti. My bones is buried in here. I celebrate you, I will help you, but I understand that that is yours, and I think you understand that too. So the real issue is, just like I'm not Jamaican, just like I'm not Haitian, just like I'm not Eritrean, you are not American DOS. You are not, you do not have parents and grandparents who grew up on sharecropper farms who can trace their stuff back to slavery. You do not have that. So what that means is that you are not a part of this tribe. That don't mean you are not black. It means you are not a part of this tribe.
Now, Yvette Carnell says, hey, listen, we have people out there who are black, but they are not of the lineage. You see, to be hashtag ADOS or the original term of African American, there are certain things that you have to do to be a part of that community. For example, my father was born in a town called Natchitoches, Louisiana, and my mother was born in a town called Bastrop, Louisiana. Both sides of my family are sharecroppers, which mean that they worked the land, but they didn't own the land. Mr. Charlie, aka the white man, owned the land. My family historically was very poor. In the 40s and the 50s came something known across America as the Great Migration. And most of you guys who are in, cities like Chicago, places up north like New York City or Massachusetts, you're not so far removed from your original family members born in the deep antebellum South. Some of you guys come from Mississippi. you come from Alabama. My family came from the great state of Louisiana. Some of you guys came from the Carolinas, north or south. Some came from Florida. Some came from parts of Missouri, when Missouri was a slave state, in Arkansas or Oklahoma. But you get my drift. Those places did not have opportunities for African Americans at the time, or hashtag FBA. So we had to go and look for opportunities. My family's opportunities came on the West Coast in California. I was one of the first people that, as a child born in California to two Louisiana parents. And we had that history of slavery, born in America, the Jim Crow laws, the antebellum South. All of that makes us who we are, okay? However, Kamala Harris did not experience that. Kamala Harris went to school in Canada. Okay, she went to school at Howard University, but Kamala Harris is not African American. You cannot make her in that community in which she doesn't identify, or a community that she clearly feels that she doesn't owe anything to. I don't even need to play her position on reparations. But we can clearly see that her position on immigration, or even helping other groups, had a far more importance to her than helping the people that she believed were African Americans. You see, the hashtag African American community was an opportunity for her to get money, for her to get supporters. But she's not us, therefore she doesn't owe us anything. This is the same thing concerning Barack Obama. And it's truly a slap in the face to name her the #1 most influential African American, when at best she's the most influential American Indian, or half black and Asian, or half Asian, or a half black Asian with a white husband. That's what she is. But she is not African American. She is not that. And that's the problem with the term. Anybody that's black can fit into the term. I guess technically, Elon Musk, who's actually white South African with his ties to Britain, could be considered an African American. If Kamala Harris can be considered that, so should he. And then you wonder why people want to delineate. And I'll tell you why. The reason why so many folks want to delineate is because a person like Kamala Harris can grift. If you ever were to get reparations, she can say that she can get it. She can say that she's owed it. Because why? She's a part of the community. But she's never done anything for this community except for use it for what she can get it for, while doing everything else to not help it. And this is the problem. This is the issue between those right now in the hashtag FBA community, or also known as the hashtag ADOS community, against people who are cosplaying as those who are from the community. I grew up in Del Paso Heights, a true African American community. Went to Grant High School, a true black high school. Then I went to the Mount Olive Institutional Baptist Church on 920 Los Robles, a church founded by former descendants of African American slaves, hashtag FBA. Most of you have in your cities a church called a Second Baptist, or hashtag Shiloh Baptist, and Third Baptist, like the legendary Third Baptist in San Francisco. All of those churches in any city in America can be tied to free slaves, like the legendary Abyssinian Baptist Church in New York. But I could go on and on for years. You guys get the drift. Kamala Harris shouldn't be #1. At least somebody else who's really from the community. Well, God.
Anyway, this is O'Shea Duke Jackins. Y'all check out his YouTube channel. You made some interesting points, man. What do y'all think about what he just said? These are comments. Subscribe to Charles and Ez for a thumbs up. But I think that Kamala, she flip-flops a lot, I think. What y'all think? Leave your comments and subscribe to the channel.